菜根谭
Tending the roots of wisdom.
137，位盛微志，德高望兴。
137. As one's position becomes prominent, the danger increases. When one's virtue is high, criticism arises.
菜根谭原文：爵位不宜太盛，太盛则危；能事不宜尽弊，尽弊则衰；行义不宜过高，过高则傍兴而毁来。
白话文注解：一个人的爵禄官位不可以太高，太高就会使自己陷于危险；一个人的才干不可以完全显露，全都显露就会由于江郎才尽而败落；一个人的品德行为不可以标榜太高，太高则毁谤和重伤就会接踵而来。
137-1. One's rank and position should not be excessively elevated, as that might lead to peril. One's abilities should not be fully revealed, for complete exposure might result in decline due to running out of fresh ideas. Similarly, one's moral character and deeds should not be excessively touted, as that could attract slander and malicious gossip. Translated by Bayan Defu.
137-2. Your title and rank should not be excessively high. If they are, then watch out. Your accomplishments should not be too perfect. If they are, then it's downhill from there. Your good conduct should not be too lofty. If it is, then destructive slander comes next. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 137-3. A man should beware of reaching too high a position, for he might bring danger upon himself. A man's accomplishments should not be too perfect, for that is the point at which decline sets in. A man should avoid too high a reputation for his virtues, for that provokes gossip and slander. Translated by Paul White.
137-4. A person's titles and official positions should not be too high, as excessive elevation may lead to personal danger. One's talents should not be fully revealed, as exposing everything may lead to a decline due to exhaustion of abilities. Likewise, a person's moral conduct should not be excessively boasted about, as doing so may invite slander and defamation. Translated by Wen Lin.
138，因恶获身，扬善功小。
138. Hidden evil brings deep calamities, while overt goodness yields small achievements.
菜根谭原文：恶既阴，善既阳，故恶之贤者获浅，而隐者获深；善之贤者功小，而隐者功大。
白话文注解：一个人做了坏事，最可怕的是掩盖它；做了好事，最忌讳的是自己宣扬出去。所以，做坏事如果能及早被人发现，那灾祸就会小；反之，如果掩盖它，那灾祸就会大。如果一个人做了好事而自己宣扬出去，那功德就会小；只有在暗中默默行善，功德才会更大。
138-1. The most dangerous aspect of committing wrongdoing is attempting to conceal it, while the most undesirable behavior after doing good deeds is boasting about them. Thus, if a bad deed is discovered by others early on, the consequences might be less severe. Conversely, if it is concealed, the repercussions can be more significant. Similarly, if one spreads word of their own good deeds, the merit derived from them becomes diminished. True virtue is cultivated through silent acts of goodness done in secret. Translated by Bayan Defu.
138-2. Wrongdoing should not be covert, in. Good should not be conspicuous, yang. That is, conspicuous wrongdoing is superficially malignant. When it is secret, it is deeply malignant. When good is conspicuous, its merit is small. When it is secret, its merit is great. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 138-3. It would be harmful for someone to cover up his bad deeds, or publicize his good behavior. Evil done openly brings about little harm. The worst evil is that done hidden from the public gaze. Good done in public is not worth much, good done secretly produces the greatest benefit. Translated by Paul White.
138-4. The most terrifying aspect of committing a wrongdoing is attempting to conceal it. And the most taboo thing after doing a good deed is self-promotion. If a misdeed is discovered early, the consequences are less severe. But if it is covered up, the consequences become more significant. Similarly, if someone does a good deed and publicizes it, the merit is diminished. Whereas performing good deeds quietly and in secret results in greater merit. Translated by Wenlin.
139. 应以德育才，勿恃才败德。
139. Use virtue to control talent. Do not rely on talent to overcome virtue.
菜根谭原文：德者才之主，才者德之奴。有才无德，儒家无主而奴用是矣，几何不往往猖狂？
白话文注解：品德是才干的主人，才干是品德的奴仆。有才无德，就像家中没有主人而由奴仆当家，这种情况，有几家不是小人成精胡作非为呢？
139-1. Virtue commands talent, while talent serves virtue. Talent devoid of virtue resembles a house overseen by servants alone. How many homes managed solely by servants manage to remain orderly without descending into chaos? Translated by Bayandefu.
139-2. Nobility is the master of talent, and talent is the servant of nobility. Otherwise it's as though the family had no head but is ruled by menials. Before long, nasty goblins will be storming madly around. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 139-3. Virtue is the master of talent, and talent is the servant of virtue. Talent without virtue is like a household without a master and run entirely by the servants. How many masters are there who have their houses run entirely by the servants and yet without making a havoc of their homes? Translated by Paul White.
139-4. Character is the master of talent, and talent is the servant of character. Having talent without virtue is like having a household where the servant acts as the master. In such a situation, how many households wouldn't fall into chaos with the servant becoming a cunning mischief maker? Translated by Wenlin.
140. 穷寇勿追，投鼠忌器。
140. Do not pursue a desperate foe. And be cautious when cornering a rat.
菜根谭原文：除奸妒性，要放他一条去路。若使之一无所容，譬如色属学者，一切去路都塞尽，则一切好物俱咬破矣。
白话文注解：铲除邪恶之徒，杜绝妖宠的小人，要给他们留一条改过自新的生路。倘若逼得他们走投无路，毫无立足之地，那就像堵死一切鼠洞，固然把老鼠的一切逃路都堵死了，可是一切好东西就会被老鼠咬坏。
140-1. Eliminating wicked individuals and cutting off sycophants should be accompanied by leaving them a chance to reform. If they're pushed to a corner with no way out, it's akin to sealing off all rat holes. While this stops the rats from escaping, it might also lead them to gnaw away at everything valuable. Translated by Bayandefu.
140-2. In weeding out a scoundrel or in frustrating a favor seeker, you'll need to leave a little opening. If you don't, it is like closing off a rat hole. The rat would have no way to escape and would turn to gnawing away at all your precious things and destroying them. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 140-3. When driving out venal officials and flattering courtiers, it is vital to allow them some way of escape. If you hem them in too tightly, leaving them no way out, it is like cornering a rat, leaving it with no hole to dart into. The result will be that the rat will chew up all your treasured possessions. Translated by Paul White.
140-4. Root out evildoers, eliminate sycophants seeking favor, and provide them with a chance for reform. If they are pushed to a dead end with no way out, it's like sealing off all the rat holes. While this may prevent the rats from escaping, it also means that everything good will be destroyed by the rats. Translated by Wenlin.
141. 过规己任，恭让他人。
141. Admit one's own mistakes, and give credit to others for achievements.
菜根谭原文：当与人同过，不当与人同工，同工则相济；可与人共患难，不可与人共安乐，安乐则相仇。
白话文注解：要有跟人共同承担过失的雅量，不可有跟人共享功劳的念头，因为共享功劳，彼此就会互相猜忌；可以有跟人共患难的胸襟，不可以有跟人共安乐的贪心，因为共安乐彼此之间就会互相仇视。
141-1. One should have the magnanimity to share in others' faults, but avoid the thought of sharing in their accomplishments, as such sharing can breed mutual suspicion. It's acceptable to share in others' adversity, but one should refrain from desiring to share in their prosperity, as sharing in prosperity can lead to mutual resentment. Translated by Bayandefu.
141-2. Share the errors of others, but don't seek to share their commendations, for that leads to resentment. Share the troubles of others, but don't seek to share their easy circumstances, for that leads to enmity. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 141-3. You can help others shoulder the blame for faults, but you cannot share the kudos of achievement with others. Sharing the kudos of achievement with others leads to mutual jealousy. You can bear hardships with others, but you cannot share comforts with others. Seeking to share comforts with others leads to mutual enmity. Translated by Paul White.
141-4. One should have the magnanimity to share the blame with others but should not harbor the idea of sharing credit, as sharing credit can lead to mutual suspicion. It is acceptable to share hardships with others, but one should not have the greed to share joys, as sharing joys can lead to mutual resentment. Translated by Wen Lin.
142. 警示救人，功德无量。
142. Warning the world and saving people bring immeasurable virtues.
菜根谭原文：是君子，贫不能济物者，遇人痴迷处，出一言提醒之；遇人急难处，出一言解救之，亦是无量功德。
白话文注解：一介书生，虽说由于清贫而不能用财物来救助他人，可是当遇到人家为某事感到迷惑而不知如何解决时，能从旁指点一番，使他能有所领悟；或者遇到人家发生紧急危难事故时，能从旁说几句公道话来解救他的危难，这也算是一种很大的善行。
142-1. Being a person of noble character, you might lack the means to assist others materially, yet when faced with someone in confusion, you can provide a word of guidance. Similarly, when someone is in dire straits, a word of solace can serve as their rescue. These gestures exemplify immeasurable benevolence. Translated by Bayandefu.
142-2. As a noble person, you may be too poor to help others materially, but on dealing with someone foolish and deluded, you can offer a single word of redemption. If someone is in acute difficulty, you can offer a single word of release. These can be acts of inestimable benevolence. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 142-3. A learned man who is poor has no way to assist other people by means of material wealth. But when he meets a person who is confused and has lost his way in life, he should say the right words to open his eyes to the truth. When he meets a person who is struggling with difficulties, he should say the right words to solve his problems. This constitutes boundless beneficence. Translated by Paul White.
142-4. A mere scholar may lack the means to assist others financially due to poverty. However, when encountering someone perplexed about a matter or facing an emergency, offering guidance to help them understand or speaking fair words to rescue them from danger, can also be considered significant acts of kindness. Translated by Wen Lin.
143. 趋炎附势，人情之常。
143. To seek warmth and follow the trend is the usual way of the world.
菜根谭原文：饥则富，饱则扬，郁则屈，寒则气，人情通患也。
白话文注解： 穷困饥饿时就投靠人家，吃饱了就远走高飞，遇到有钱人就去巴结，看见贫困的亲友就鄙弃不顾，这就是一般人所最容易犯的通病。
143-1. During times of poverty and hunger, they seek refuge with others. Once their hunger is sated, they fly away. They curry favor with the wealthy and disregard impoverished friends and relatives. This is a common flaw in human nature. Translated by Bayandefu.
143-2. When hungry, they are dependent. When full, they fly away. When your circumstances warm up, they hurry over. When they freeze, they forsake you. These are common failings of human nature. Translated by Robert Aitken Daniel W. Wyckoff. 143-3. When we are hungry we seek relief from others. When we have full stomachs we shun others. If there is a warm shelter, we all flock to it. If there is a freezing shanty, we all turn our backs on it. This is a common flaw in human nature. Translated by Paul White.
143-4. Seeking refuge with others when impoverished and hungry. Then leaving when well fed, flattering the wealthy, and despising and neglecting poor relatives and friends. These are common vices that many people are prone to commit. Translated by Wen Lin.
144. 须冷眼观物，勿轻动刚长。
144. Observe things with a cool eye and avoid acting impulsively.
菜根谭原文：君子一定是冷眼，慎勿轻动刚长。
白话文注解：一个有才学修养的人，不论对于任何事物，都要保持冷静态度去细心观察，绝对不可以随便表现自己刚直的性格。
144-1. An individual with knowledge and refinement should maintain a composed demeanor and keen observation in all matters. They should refrain from impulsively revealing their straightforward nature. Translated by Bayandefu.
144-2. As a noble person, keep a clear, cool eye. Be prudent. And don't let your bowels be stirred by trifles. Translated by Robert Aitken and Daniel W. Wyckoff. 144-3. The virtuous man makes his gaze ever cooler and brighter, on no account does he lightly assert his upright nature. Translated by Paul White.
144-4. A person with talent and cultivation should, in regard to any matter, maintain a calm attitude, carefully observe, and never casually display their straightforward nature. Translated by Wen Lin.